I want to start today with a word that, well, it makes most of us pretty uncomfortable.
Power.
Yeah, power. We usually, we whisper it, we pretend we don't want it, we associate it with, I don't know, tyrants or maybe that one sociopathic manager we all had who made life miserable.
It's the ultimate dirty word, isn't it? We're sort of trained to believe that wanting power is just inherently evil.
Exactly. But today, we're looking at a book that argues that power is basically the operating system of human society.
Yeah.
You can't just opt out.
And if you try to, you're not being virtuous. You're just making yourself a victim.
We are talking, of course, about Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power.
A notorious one.
Oh, it's notorious. It's banned in some U.S. prisons. It's been called a handbook for evil. And honestly, reading through the source material, I kind of see why. It feels cold. It feels amoral.
It is cold.
Treats people like pawns on a chessboard.
It does. But Greene's argument, and this is really the mission for this deep dive, is that we need to strip away the moral judgment just to understand the mechanics. He frames the world not as a family or a community, but as what was it? A giant scheming court.
A giant scheming court.
You might be a nice person, but you are walking through a minefield. The goal today isn't to teach you how to blow things up, but to show you where the mines are.
So you don't step on them.
Exactly.
Which is a fair point. I mean, even if you don't want to be a shark, you probably need to know how sharks swim. So we're going to break down the philosophy behind this whole game, and then we'll dissect the first 5 laws. And I want to start with that philosophy, because Greene talks about something he calls the core paradox.
Right. And this is the tension that I think defines our modern lives. On one hand, we're social creatures. We have to be congenial. We have to talk about fairness and democracy and teamwork.
Of course. You can't just walk into a meeting and scream, "I want total control."
It won't last 5 minutes. You'd be ostracized.
You'd be fired.
You'd be fired. But on the other hand, we do want control. We want our ideas to win. We want the promotion. So the paradox is, how do you grab power in a world that claims to despise power grabbing?
And the book's answer is, what? Deception.
Well, Greene calls it indirection. It's the velvet glove.
Yeah.
You have to be the courtier. If you look at the aristocratic courts, Louis XIV, the Medicis, everyone was smiling, everyone was polite.
But
Beneath the surface, it was a war of maneuvering. You have to be civilized on the outside, but a strategist on the inside.
See, this is where I get stuck. Because I know people, and you definitely know people who say, "I don't play games. I'm just honest. What you see is what you get." Greene seems to have a lot of contempt for that.
He really, really does. He calls it the non-player fallacy. And this is a crucial insight. Greene argues that the person claiming moral superiority is actually playing the game the hardest. They're just using a different tactic.
So?
Well, think about it. If I say, "I'm weak, I'm just a nice person, I can't handle this conflict," what am I actually doing? I'm demanding your sympathy. I'm using guilt to get you to back down.
Weaponized naivety.
Precisely. Greene calls it the surrender tactic. By opting out, you are forcing others to take care of you. It's a power move.
That is incredibly cynical.
It is. But is it wrong?
I mean, I can see the logic. It's passive-aggressive control.
Right. And the prerequisite for moving from being a passive victim to an active player, according to the text, is emotional control. This is the foundation. Most of us just react. Someone insults us, we get angry.
Someone flatters us, we fall in love.
Exactly. Greene says, stop. Those emotions are blinding you. You have to stop seeing good and evil and start seeing circumstances. You have to look at the board objectively.
Okay, so if we're stripping away emotion, looking at the board, let's look at the first move. Law number 1. This one sounds so simple, but the example suggests it's actually really hard to pull off. Yeah. Law 1. Never outshine the master.
It's the most common mistake talented people make. The rule is simple. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior.
But wait, if I'm talented, shouldn't I show it? If I want a promotion, don't I need to prove I'm the smartest person in the room?
And that is exactly how you get fired. Or, in some cases, thrown in a dungeon for life.
Okay, walk me through this.
Let's look at the cautionary tale of Nicolas Fouquet. He was the finance minister for Louis XIV in, the 1600s. A brilliant guy. He loved the king. He wanted to impress him. So Fouquet throws a party.
And not just any party. I was looking at the details. It's insane.
We're talking the party of the century.
He commissioned a new play by Molière. He had fireworks, exotic foods from the Orient. I mean, pure opulence.
It was spectacular. All the guests agreed it was the most amazing thing they'd ever seen. And Fouquet thought, the king's going to be so impressed, he'll make me prime minister.
And instead,
the very next day, Louis had him arrested. Fouquet spent the last 20 years of his life in solitary confinement.
Because the party was too good.
Because he wounded the master's vanity. I mean, put yourself in Louis XIV's shoes. He's the Sun King. He's the center of the universe, and here's his employee shining brighter than him.
Showing more wealth, more taste.
Right. Louis didn't feel pride in his minister. He felt insecurity. He felt like he was being replaced.
So the lesson is, be mediocre. Dim your light.
No, and that is such a key distinction. It's not about being less. It's about appearing less. Compare Fouquet to Galileo.
Okay.
Galileo was a genius, arguably much smarter than his patrons, the Medicis. When he discovered the moons of Jupiter, he didn't just publish a paper saying, "Look what I found."
He made it about them.
Totally. He named the moons the Medici stars. He wrote this elaborate dedication saying the 4 moons orbiting Jupiter represented the 4 sons of the Medici family orbiting their father.
Wow. That is laying it on thick.
Oh, it's total sycophancy. But look at the mechanism. He didn't make himself the star. He made the Medicis a cosmic event. He reflected his glory onto them.
And what did he get?
A salary, protection, and the position of court philosopher.
So for anyone listening who's dealing with an insecure boss, don't show them you're smarter. Use your smarts to make them look brilliant.
That's the move. If they have a bad idea, you don't say, "That's wrong." You say, "That's a great angle, and it made me think of this." You present your better idea as an extension of their thought.
It hurts my ego just hearing it.
Then your ego is interfering with your power.
Fair point. All right, let's move to Law 2. This one goes against everything we're taught as kids. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies.
This is one of the most provocative laws, but the psychological insight is, it's pretty deep. We tend to hire friends because it feels safe. We think, I can trust them.
But Greene says that's a trap.
He says friends are prone to envy. And more importantly, friendship creates this weird dynamic of entitlement. If I hire you because we're friends, you sort of feel like you deserve the job. You don't have to earn it every day.
And you resent being told what to do.
Yeah, we're friends. Why are you bossing me around? The phrase, ingratitude is a burden, came up in the notes.
Right.
It's the story of Michael III of the Byzantine Empire. He takes this stable boy, Basilius, a nobody. Michael saves his life, gives him money, education, power, makes him co-emperor, everything.
And you'd think Basilius would be loyal for life.
Quite the opposite. Basilius became resentful. Every time he looked at Michael, he was reminded that he was a charity case. He wanted to own his power, not owe it.
So what did he do?
He murdered Michael. The text describes him riding through the streets with Michael's head on a pike.
Wow, okay, so note to self, don't hire friends. But the second half of that law, use enemies, that seems even riskier.
It's actually safer. Look at Emperor Sung of China. China was in this endless cycle of coups. Sung breaks the cycle. He invites all his rival generals, the guys who should want to kill him, to a banquet.
I love this story. They're all terrified, right? Thinking it's a trap.
Oh, they're sure they're about to be executed. But instead of killing them, Sung offers them a deal. Give up your commands, and I will give you massive estates, riches, and a peaceful retirement.
He turned friendly wolves into docile lambs?
Exactly. And there's that great moment with King Lu, a former rebel.
Right, the wine.
Yes. Sung invites him for a drink. Lu is shaking, thinking the wine is poisoned. And Sung just laughs, takes the glass, and drinks it himself. That one moment turned a former enemy into his most loyal ally.
Because the enemy has something to prove.
A friend assumes you like them. An enemy knows they're on thin ice. They'll work harder and be more grateful. In the workplace, it means hire for competence, not chemistry. Your rival might be your best asset.
Okay, moving on. Law 3. This is where we get into real spycraft territory. Conceal your intentions.
This is all about information control. The premise is simple. If you're an open book, you're predictable. And if you're predictable, you are easy to manipulate.
Which goes against all that modern advice about being transparent and authentic.
Greene would say that's suicide. If you reveal your goal, people can block it. If you hide it, they don't know how to defend. He breaks us into 2 tactics: the red herring and the smokescreen.
Let's distinguish those. A red herring is a distraction.
Yeah, it's dragging a smelly fish across the trail, feigning interest in one thing to hide your interest in another. The book uses the story of Ninon de Lenclos, a famous courtesan coaching a young marquis on how to seduce a countess.
And the marquis was doing it all wrong. Too eager, too obvious.
He was confessing his undying love. It was boring. So Ninon told him to step back. She had him start a rumor that he was in love with a different woman. That was the red herring.
So the Countess sees him with this other girl.
And she gets confused. I thought he liked me. That confusion creates jealousy. It makes the Marquis seem desirable. He flips the power dynamic just by concealing his real intention.
Okay, then you have the smoke screen. This feels less about jealousy and more about, what? Boredom.
Boredom is a powerful weapon. Yellow Kid, while a famous con artist, was a master of this. He wanted to scam a guy named Giesel on a fixed boxing match. But you can't just walk up and say, hey, bet on this fixed fight.
Too suspicious, so he used real estate.
Exactly. He approached Giesel with a totally legitimate, incredibly boring real estate deal. They spent weeks on it. Giesel was so focused on the real estate, the smokescreen, that his guard was down.
So when the boxing thing came up, he didn't even think twice.
He thought it was just a side thing. He lost $35,000, all because he was looking at the smoke, not the fire. The lesson is, hide your sharpest sword behind a bland exterior.
Which leads perfectly into Law 4, because the best way to conceal your intentions is often to just stop talking. Law 4, always say less than necessary.
The more you say, the more common you appear. That's the quote. Words are dangerous. Every time you speak, you risk saying something foolish. You risk revealing something.
The example here is Coriolanus, the Roman hero. A legend on the battlefield, but then he ran for political office.
And he couldn't keep his mouth shut. He'd get up and brag about his exploits. He'd insult the common people. He just kept talking. And the more he talked, the more his mystery vanished. He became just an arrogant jerk.
He talked his way right into banishment.
Yep. Silence, on the other hand, creates a vacuum, and people rush to fill it. If I ask you a question and you give a short, vague answer and then just stare at me.
I start babbling. I reveal things I didn't mean to.
Exactly. You project meaning onto my silence. Louis XIV terrified his court with this. His ministers would debate for hours, and Louis would just look at them and say, I shall see, and then walk away.
I shall see.
That's it.
That's it. It kept everyone guessing. It kept the control 100% in his hands.
It's the Andy Warhol effect, too.
Yes. Warhol gave these vague, monosyllabic interviews. Critics thought he was a deep philosophical genius. They projected their own theories onto him. If he'd explained it all, the mystery would have vanished.
And nothing controls appearances more than our final law for today, Law 5. So much depends on reputation on it with your life. Reputation is the cornerstone. If you have a strong reputation for being cunning or honest or cruel, that reputation enters the room before you do. It can win fights for you without you even lifting a finger.
The story of Zhuge Liang is my absolute favorite in this whole section. It's so cinematic.
The empty fort strategy. Zhuge Liang was a famous general in ancient China known for being a genius trickster. He gets caught in a small city with just a handful of soldiers. An enemy army of 150,000 is approaching.
He's toast. By all logic, you run or surrender.
Instead, he orders the gates thrown wide open. He takes down the flags, and he sits on top of the city wall in Taoist robes, burning incense and playing a lute.
Just chilling.
Completely calm. The enemy general, Sima Yi, arrives. He sees this, and he knows Liang's reputation for setting traps. He thinks there's no way he'd be this exposed unless it's a massive ambush.
So he retreats.
He turns his entire army around and runs away. Zhuge Liang defeated an army with a musical instrument and a reputation. That's the defensive power of it.
But it can be used as a weapon, too. The P.T. Barnum story. This is so petty, but so effective.
Well, Barnum was a master. He wanted to buy a museum, but it got sold to his rival, Peale's museum. He couldn't fight them legally, so he fought their reputation.
He started a smear campaign.
He attacked their credibility. Peale's whole brand was high science. So when they started doing hypnotism shows, Barnum staged his own fake hypnotism show. He'd put a little girl in a trance. He'd pull out a knife and pretend he was going to cut off her finger to test if she felt pain. And right before he'd cut, the girl would jump up and run away laughing. The audience roared.
Which made the whole idea of hypnotism in Peale's museum look like a joke.
Exactly. He didn't attack their building. He attacked the foundation of their business. Their stock plummeted, and Barnum bought the museum for pennies on the dollar.
So to recap the toolkit we've built: flatter the master, hire the enemy, hide your goal, shut up, and guard your name.
It's a formidable arsenal, and it brings us back to where we started. You might listen to all this and think, this is manipulative, this is gross.
I think a lot of people probably feel that way.
But Greene's argument would be, the game is happening whether you choose to play or not. Your boss is playing it. Your rival is playing it. The companies selling you toothpaste are playing it.
Ignorance isn't a shield.
No, And I want to leave you with a provocative thought, specifically on Law 3 and our obsession with honesty.
Go for it.
We often pat ourselves on the back for being an open book. We think it makes us virtuous. But ask yourself, are you being transparent because it's moral? Or are you being transparent because it's easy? It takes no effort to blurt out your feelings. It takes real discipline to hold your tongue. If you are an open book, you are readable. If you are readable, you are predictable. And if you are predictable, are you actually free? Or are you just a pawn waiting for someone else to move you?
Something to chew on next time you're in a staff meeting. That's it for this deep dive into the 48 Laws of Power. Thanks for listening.
Until next time.